So today's webinar, we're going to take a look at the WiSys Agility Web Explorer and how you can basically run Agility Web Explorer from any browser on your desktop, on your tablet, on a phone, whatever device that you happen to have. So Agility Web Explorer, of course, it's like all of our other applications. It works with Macola Progression ES or M10. There is no limitations there. The interface gives you Explorer-like grids to run from within your browser, any browser. And then also when you're running on tablets and phones, it can be set into responsive mode to streamline the data that's presented and give it a much better look and feel to present to your users. So Exact also now has added in the ability for WiSys to put in a widget into Synergy Enterprise, so you can take and run the WiSys applications. If you don't want to run it in Agility Web Explorer, you can run it from within Synergy or from within a workspace within there, and you can manually add it into your workspaces, or we can have a web component there for the WiSys to add in a Agility Web component or an Agility Web link. So we'll go through that and we'll take a look about how you can easily add that in and run any applications from within N10 also. Agility Web Explorer is designed using the Agility Designer. So the same tool that you use to design Agility Explorer applications is also used to design the Agility Web Explorer. They're very similar. They have pretty much a lot of the same functionality, a little bit of difference there, but it's the same tool that you're already familiar with that you can use and you have available to you to create all of your WiSys Agility Web Explorer applications custom to you. So it does run from the Agility web browser in a menu system with full role and security rights. It is similar to the device settings in that administrators do not get full access. You have to add the Agility web applications to your web roles. And it also allows security clear down to the drill down for the buttons and the execution things that it's doing. And that is because one of the things we'll talk about is you can use this for a purchasing portal or a customer portal, maybe to allow your vendors to get in and update purchase orders. Like maybe you want them to update promise dates if they're willing to do that. So, or customers, you have a good customer that you want to have a customer portal to. You want them to see the grid and you want drill down functionality for your users, but you don't want that there for your customers or your vendors. You have full control of that security. And we'll take a look at that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the Agility Web Explorer. It is new to 566, which was released earlier this year in March. And anybody that needs to run the application from a browser, so it might be somebody in another warehouse that they don't have a desktop. It could be somebody in the field. It could be your sales rep. It could be, a vendor or a customer. Anybody like that may find it very beneficial to have access to the Agility Explorer. So today, we're going to take a look at the menus and what's available in 566. We do have some production order processing apps, some purchasing, some order entry and AR, and some inventory apps. We're going to take a look at some of those that are out there and how they function. And as part of that, we're looking for feedback from you too. What else would you like to see out there in our standard application? So we're going to show you what's there, and we're going to show you how to set it up if you want to use it. And then if there's things that you think we should build into that standard application, we would love your feedback, and we'll give you the email information to send that in so we know what to put out there for you to be beneficial for your company. When we start up Agility Web Explorer, this is our screen here. So we have a screen that we can see everything that's been granted to you as a user, and we have menus so that you can sort and group them together that are available. Oops, I went backwards here. So not to go through too many PowerPoints, we're actually going to open up Agility Explorer and let's take a look what's in there. I am going to open up my machine here. So I'm going to pull over my virtual here. And I have down here in Chrome, I'm going to start up Chrome. I already have my Agility Web Explorer set up. So I will show you where the information is that tells you what you need to do to set that up. I'm going to click on Agility Web Explorer and it will open up my menu. Now the first thing is I'm multi-company. I have different companies set up. If you don't have multiple companies set up, it will take you right into it without asking you for a company first. I am multi-company. I select the company I want to work in and it opens up my Agility Explorer. Now it is sensitive to my screen size, so I'm going to drag this open here, and this is my main menu for the Agility Web Explorer. I can see everything that I have been granted rights to, and I have available to run in the Agility Web Explorer. So there is a little bit of setup that comes with the Agility Web Explorer, and let's go take a look at where that is quick before we get started. If I open up Agility Explorer, we have the new functionality with the user login and user access as part of 566. So in order for someone to use the Agility Web Explorer, they first have to come in and they have to be set up as a web user. So I will see my users that are available here. And if I want to set someone up as a web user, I simply open up their user record. And just like we have a selection for Explorer, mobile, and a web user, you check the box and you click OK. You can see who has web user access, and I can see the licenses that I have because the web user is a named user, and I can see how many I've used of those applications. Once I have granted someone the ability to use Agility Web Explorer, I now have roles. And with the roles, I control what people see. So in my roles, I'm opening up my Agility User Access here. I am going to come in here to my roles. And once I am in the roles, I have my Agility Explorer, Agility Mobile, and I have now the Agility Web. Under here, under Agility Web, I see the standard default role that we push out that basically has all of the functionality for the web turned on. This is our standard role. You can utilize that, or you may want to create your own role. I've created one down here, and you will grant the users the access that they need to that. So in this instance, I have this role. I can click on my users, add who should be getting that, and then I can come over here to my components, and these are my menu options, just like I see in Agility Explorer, and I can select and unselect by the entire menu or the individual items under there. So I select what this role should have, and once I have that selected, I also have the submenus or the drill down functionality where I can get into. We have now this new piece where they also have to be granted to the drill downs that they have in here to be able to get to that functionality also, which gives you full security and control. So if you were going to give it to a vendor or an outside customer, you can very easily control the fact that they can't drill into those menus. All right. So once I have that set up for my roles, I am good to set up my server. And I will close this down and we'll come back to Agility Web Explorer. So what I'm seeing on my menu is what I have rights to. And let's talk about the menu item here. So this is my main menu, and then I have my side menus here. So this is a hamburger stack menu option here, and this will simply open and close. You'll see this in a lot of the newer applications here, and this will open and close the menus by each area. So if I click on inventory, I will see my inventory applications, my order processing, purchasing, production order. So it lets me easily control that. If I want to see everything, I simply click on the Agility Web Explorer and I go back to the main menu of everything. And if I want to close this, I can click on my hamburger stack and it is now gone. So that is the main menu of the Agility Web Explorer and how I get around the applications to select what I need. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to click on my hamburger menu here, and I'm going to go into the production order processing. So in production order processing here, I have a pop production view, and I'm going to go on ahead and open that up. And this is going to open up a grid-like functionality that looks very similar to Agility Explorer, except I'm running from the web. So in here, I can see that I have my list of information that displayed, and it is built exactly like an Agility Explorer application is. I have a scroll bar across the bottom here that I can scroll across my data, and I can see my data here. I also have my buttons up at the top here. So in this section where my buttons are, I have a refresh button. If this was an application that I needed to go out and have it re-pull data, I simply click the refresh. It will go out there and do a refresh against my data. This is my documents button, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But if I have an application that prints documents, this is where it's going to show them and store them until I purge them. I then have full functionality, very similar to Agility Explorer, where I can take and export my grids down to Excel or a PDF. So if I have this filtered and I want to take it there, it's very easy to export those out. Underneath my button here, I have the ability to use a column editor to choose columns. So if I want to customize this, it's very similar to an Agility Explorer application. I simply have my layout here of default, but if I want to customize this for what I want to see, I can come here and I can choose Column Chooser, just like I can in Agility Explorer. These are the fields. Down here it opened up my Column Chooser box, and these are the fields that are in SQL that I don't have on my screen, but I have available to drag it up and add them here should I want them here. So right now I don't have the item description 2 on here. If for some reason I want that, I simply drag it on here, and I can make this my own custom layout. So if I can expand this, and I can also come in here to my column editor, which works a little bit different than Agility Explorer because it opens everything up at once. So it's almost a little more user-friendly from the perspective of, here's the caption, and if I want to change the name, I simply type this. So I want this to be order type, and then I can come down and I can change the next one, order number. And you can see as I'm changing them, it highlights the things that I'm changing. If I want this to be a number field, so here's a unit price, maybe I want the decimals, how many ever decimals I want to display, I simply change that for my decimals. And once I have all my changes in here, I click Save Changes. Also in here, we have the ability, if this is a brand new screen and you're first coming in here, you can do a mass format, and it will go read the standard names that we've assigned to a lot of them to save you from having to type over the database names. And when I'm done, I save, and I click Close Layout Editor. So I can come in here and I can see that my name changed. It now says order number. And I would need to go on ahead and save my layout, just like I would do in Agility Explorer, so that I have my own custom layout here. So this is, I'm going to call it my layout, which could be your company, whatever's meaningful to you. I can make this a private layout so that only I can see it, or I can assign it to the roles that I have defined for my web users. So I have the ability to push it out to multiple users in those roles for what they see. And I simply click OK. And now you'll notice that it switched me to my layout. And I can also go back to the default layout, very similar to Agility Explorer. So I have the ability here to make changes and customize that to what is important to you. So let's take a look at, that is the production order processing. We also have the ability to group and filter, very similar to Agility Explorer. So you can see here that I have my filters. If I want to look at all of my frame items, I simply start typing and I hit enter, and it will filter for everything that I've typed. You'll notice on the bottom of the screen here that it also creates filters just like it does in Agility Explorer. So I have my filters that have been built down here. I could uncheck the box to take it off, or over here on the right, I can click clear and it will make it go away, or I can simply erase it from here. I do have the same advanced functionality to click on that and build a complex formula filter, just like I do in Agility Explorer. So all that same functionality is here available in the web. And as well as that, I'm going to take this out here. I have my same filter funnel here that I can click on, and I can see all of my options, choose them all, unselect them all, the same as Agility Explorer. So I have that same feature and functionality here in the Agility Web Explorer. So the next thing I want to take a look at is I'm going to go down to my inventory menu. And in my inventory menu, I'm going to open up the multi-level item view. And in my multi-level item view, you'll notice that it looks a little different because the first thing I have is I have filters. So I have created an item number filter and a location filter, and I can do a lookup, I can scan, I can type, just like with Agility Explorer. I did a lookup here to find a list of my items where I could also filter. I type in what I want. So if I want my awesome sauce item, I simply choose that, or I could tab through and it would do all. I put in my ending one, the same thing on the location with my filters. When I have these entered, I have a go button right here. I simply click go, and now it's going to pull back the data that qualifies with my filter. Now, this screen looks a little bit different than the production order processing screen. Here are the buttons that we looked at on the production order processing screen, but I have a lot of additional buttons here. So on my item here, I can simply filter my bins, and here's a list of my bins. Now, you'll notice it popped up another window because that's how I have it defined to open up that window. I am on my same item, and I'm going to click the OE Orders button. And when I click the OE Orders button, this is set to not open a new window, and it just opened a list of my new orders here. And I simply click my back button, and I am back to my line items here for my awesome sauce. If I click pop orders, I can see the open pop orders, and it's drilling me into that. And the same thing if I have purchase orders. I don't have any shop floor orders for that one, but if I did, it would be the same functionality. This one was set to open it up to a new tab, which I can simply close when I'm done. Now, this is in 566. In 567, they're going to change that functionality a little bit, where it's called opening a modal window. And that will pop open that window on top of the screen so that you have both of them open. So it doesn't work that way today, but this is an evolving product, and it's new, and we're making constant changes to it to just keep making it better. So there is some functionality that's going to change, and it will pop that open instead. If I need to see my serial lot information, I can drill into my serial lot, and I can see all of those values. Click my back button. So it's very easy to navigate this information here that is in my defined grid here. If I am on a smaller screen, one of the things that I'm going to make this smaller, so let's say this is a tablet. You'll notice on the bottom here, I have a scroll bar, and I can scroll across and I can see all my data. Now I can close my hamburger menu here, and I have this scroll. You'll notice that at the top here, when I shrunk this screen, my buttons disappeared. And when they disappeared, they all went under this menu, and they're listed under here. So I now have my action menu, And if I drag this back out, you'll notice that those buttons reappear. So it depends on how big your screen is as to if those buttons show or if they appear under your action buttons here. And as part of my action buttons here, I'm on a tablet. I don't want to scroll. I could. I can simply do this back and forth. But I can come up here to my action buttons, and I'm going to come down here to layout, and I'm going to scroll down my layout menu, and I'm going to say display responsive instead of displaying horizontal, which gives me my scroll bar across the bottom. So I'm going to choose display responsive. And you'll notice that with my display responsive here, that I don't have a scroll bar across the bottom anymore. What I do have is, here's my awesome sauce, and I have 3 little ellipses here. And that's how I know that this is in responsive mode. If I click the 3 little ellipses here, all those fields that were in the scroll bar are now available here in my list menu down here. So I can see those values right here. When I'm done with this menu, I simply close it, and I can go to the next item, and I can open whatever it is that I want to see. So when you're designing your Agility Web applications, you do want to think about, if I'm making this for a tablet or I'm making this for a phone, I want to keep the key items that I want to be right up front to be those first few items that are here. Because the display responsive, you'll notice, will shrink and display as soon as I can get my, based on how much space I have. So you'll notice it gave me my second description because now I have more space. And when I click on my display responsive, it's not included in the list. So it does take some overhead that it has to rethink these items that it's going to hide or display. But you can shrink it down to whatever's there. You just need to put some thought into how it should be designed. So that is the multi-level item view. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to open my menus. I'm going to click on inventory, and I'm going to open up this mobile IM serial lot hold application. And when I open up this application, I'm going to go on ahead and drag this out. And you will see that I have my applications, I have a filter, and I want to look at my awesome sauce here, which is item AWES in location MA. I'm going to click my go, and now I'm seeing all the serial lot items that are out there for the awesome sauce. And as part of that, we have this grid designed so that you can put them on hold or release, or you can also view the transactions. When they're on hold, they simply highlight in red so you know they're on hold. If I want to take this item, I'm going to click this item here, and I'm going to, my edit columns are the same as they are in Agility Explorer. They're bold, which tells me that they are an edit field. I'm going to click hold, or I could be doing this with my finger. And you'll notice when I tabbed off that field, it knows it's changed and it turned it green. So it highlighted very easily for me that this was a changed field. So I'm going to put in my reason code, review, whatever that code is. This is the same as it would be in Macola. And I tab off that, and I'm going to click my hold button. So you'll see it's processing, and now it has gone out, and it has set this item on hold, and it has applied the alert that this guy is on hold. If I want to take it off hold, I simply check the box, and I'm going to change this to be active. And I have another button here to release this. Now this could be designed differently so that it was one button and it knew what to do based on the status. But right now it has 2 different buttons, so it's easy to see and present here. You'll notice here that I'm also in the mobile layout versus the default layout. And in the default layout, when I shrink this down, I have my horizontal scroll bar back. If I come in here to change my layout, I can come down here and see my layout, and I can put it back to my mobile layout, and it went to responsive. So it makes it very easy for you to take an application, run it from a browser, maybe on a large tablet, and also take it out on maybe a phone and apply it on a very small scale by setting it into a responsive mode and having it available there. So what I'm going to do next is I've got my little bitty phone here, and I've got an iPhone 6 phone, and I am going to start up AirPlay here, and we're going to watch the same thing run from my iPhone here. So let's hope it can find that and that it pushes it out here. So here is, you're looking at my iPhone 6S. I happen to have a shortcut on here. On the left and about the middle, you can see I didn't think to clean my phone up, but it starts with AWE main, and I'm simply going to tap on that icon, and it is going to start up the agilitywisys.com on my phone. You can see on my phone that I can see all the same applications from that main menu are listed here. Now I am on a different server here on my phone, and this is 567, so you're going to see a few different applications that are out here, but it works very much the same. So I have my, if you look to the top left corner, I have my hamburger stack menu, and I'm pushing on that hamburger stack menu to open and close that. If I want to go to inventory, I simply click on inventory, and now all I see are my inventory items that are out here. If I want to see everything, I select, I'm tapping on this AWE, and it should take me back to my main menu. So now I'm seeing all of my applications again. So I'm going to go back down here. I'm going to open up my menu, hamburger menu, and I'm going to choose inventory. And I'm going to open up this mobile IM serial lot hold application. And I'm doing this from my phone. Now it defaulted in the last item information, but I could come in here and I could do a lookup and I can make changes to my filters. And I am in my item number. And again, I'm typing in because it popped open my screen. And I am simply going to hit enter, and I get my AWE. And I can set my filters and my criteria here. So for my location, I have a lookup here. And in this instance on this database, I would like to pull up my 00 location. Oh, hold on, I'm going to have to, on this database, it should be fine. I'm going to choose go because I only have one location for this item, and I'm seeing the same thing on my mobile phone. So here, one of the things I didn't show you is you can see that it's in responsive mode. So if you look here to the ellipsis, I know that it is in responsive mode. But one other thing that I have turned on is I'm going to click on my action buttons up top, and I'm going to open up my layout menu, and I'm just using my finger on my phone, and I'm scrolling up, and you will see single row processing and multi-row processing. Multi-row processing is where you have the whole grid and you can enter multiple rows at a time, just like you do in Agility Explorer when you have edit fields. When I choose single row process, I now have this edit button. And what this edit button does for me is I'm in response mode. I don't see this, but when I click my edit button, let's say I'm going to go to my 2007001 serial number, and I'm going to choose that one, and I'm going to tap on the edit button here. And when I tap on the edit button, it's going to pop up those same edit fields as if I saw them on the other screen. So I want to put this on hold. So I'm tapping on my arrow here, and I'm going to choose hold. And I'm tapping in my reason, and I want to make this review. And I simply then scroll up here to my action button, and I'm going to choose hold. And you'll notice it did a refresh. At the top of the screen, it showed me that it processed one transaction, and it put that particular serial number on hold. And it works the same If I were to want to take that off, I am simply going to click at it again, and I can choose a release or active and scroll up to my action button, and I can choose release, and now it is off hold. And you'll notice at the top where it tells me the transactions, if I want to just close that, I simply click the X, and I am back done to my main menu. When I'm done with that application, I can either choose my hamburger menu and go to a different application, or I can simply go to the AWE to get all of them. So one of the things in here, we'll come back to that. So that is running the Agility Web Designer from within a phone application. And a tablet would be the same thing. It would just be larger. But now I tipped my phone sideways, so you can see that it will follow whichever way you want to run this from. And of course, it will display based upon whatever application you have that's available for your screen. So here's an OE dashboard. I'll show you a preview of 567. So this is the OE dashboard. Wasn't really designed for my little teeny tiny phone, but you can see here that it displays quite nicely on a phone. So this is not a dashboard that was designed there, but this is displaying from my iPhone 6. All right, so I'm going to close down Air Server. And we'll go back to the actual application here. And so now I'm back on my desktop. So you can see how easy it is to take these agility screens and put them on an application that's very tiny or that's run from a browser on your desktop and move that around and make changes there. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger here. And we're going to go back to my menu, and I'm going to choose order processing. We have the OE Pick Management application here, and I'm going to open up OE Pick Management. And with OE Pick Management, you will see again, I have filters similar to the same thing I have in Agility Explorer. I have my request date, I have my location. I'm going to click Go. And you will see I have alerts for back orders and shortages, similar to Agility Explorer. But I also, here's my buttons to fill the back order, print the pick ticket, or to change the quantity. So here I am looking at, this is my order number 161 here. And let's say that right now I want to fill this particular back order. So I have tires. I can see if I scroll over, because I don't have it in response mode, but I can see here that I have 426 available. So I'm going to check this box, and I could check as many boxes as I wanted. I could drag up the order number and group it by the order number and check all of them. But I'm going to click the fill back order button, and this is 161 for tires. And you'll notice that 161 for tires filled my back order. Now I don't quite want to send them 100, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say maybe I only want to send them 50 because I have to send 50 to somebody else. I'm going to check the box, shows me it changed. I'm going to do a change quantity, and just like in Agility Explorer, I have that same functionality right here. So it is complete, and I'm going to refresh my grid, and I didn't check my box. So let's try it again. There we go. And you'll see it changed it to 50, and I still have a back order. So it moves everything around. Now this is my pick management grid. So one of the things I do from pick management is I also have the ability from the web to print documents. So I am going to come up here and I am going to print document 161. These lines are potentially ready. I check whichever items I want to print, and I'm going to choose my pick ticket print. And right now in 566, these will print to a PDF document. So this told me that it printed, and what it did is it sent it to my documents area. This is storing it in a web documents table, and when I go to my PIC management documents, I can see that this is my PIC ticket that I just printed, and it's not red. When I select this PDF, it's going to open up my PIC ticket, and this is the PIC ticket that I have stored in Agility Explorer in my document management. So whether I print them from within Agility Explorer or I print them from Agility Web, it's printing the same document here. This is opening it up in a PDF, and I can simply go on ahead and click print this from my PDF to whatever printers I have on my network, and it will print that. This is functionality that is also going to change with 567. So with that, we are going to include direct printing that would allow you to print to any printers that are on your web server that are available out there. So this is going to get even easier, but you have the ability to print all of your documents right now today. I'm going to close my document here. And you'll notice here that this took me back into my PIC management screen. And one of the things is we've got this in a table. We want to purge those off. So as soon as we're done with them, we have the ability to purge based upon the criteria that I want and to take those out of there. You'll also notice that they tell me if I've been read and opened or if I haven't been. So I can very easily manage which ones have been printed and which ones haven't. When I'm done with my documents, I click close and I come back to my PIC management screen. So that is the PIC management. The other thing that's really cool about the Synergy Web Explorer is I can take this into my Synergy menus. So I am going to jump out of this database here, and I am going to jump into, Exact Synergy. So I am in my Synergy database, and let's say I have designed my Agility web components. I have them out there, or I'm using standard ones. I have the ability to add them into workspaces, or I can actually add them in as a WiSys widget, and it makes it very easy to pull those in. So you can see this is my home page in Synergy here, and here's my Me page with all of my applications here. I do have a widget already added in here, but to add that, I simply click my ability to add, and you'll notice I have a WiSys option here. I choose WiSys, and I have the ability to add a widget or to add a link. I'm going to choose a widget from here. And with my widget, I simply give it a title. What do I want to call it? I'm going to go on ahead and grab my IM just for fun because we've looked at it several times. Serial lot hold release. Maybe I want to run that from right within my Synergy because I don't want to go into the Agility Explorer. I'm going to choose my company. I am also multi-company here, so I choose which company I want to run from. And then is this a grid or a process grid? I do have an option here because I am in 567 of analytical dashboard. You will not see that in 566 because it doesn't come out till 567. So I'm going to choose process grid because this is an action grid. And then I'm going to see the list of all of the things I have available as applications to run from the web. So here I'm going to scroll down and I am going to find my IM serial lot hold. And I'm going to click Save and Exit. And you'll notice that same screen that I had in Agility Explorer, I now have as a widget available to me. The sizing works the same. You'll notice when it's bigger, I have my buttons. If I shrink it, I can press them down under my action button here. So it all functions exactly the same. So I can move it on the screen. I can drag it where I want to. And if I scroll up here, you'll notice I have my filters. I enter them and I click go, and I have the same data and I have the same buttons to put this stuff on hold and release. So anything I can run from the web, I can add it as a widget into my Synergy homepage. Another feature is the WiSys link. So I'm going to flip here. I have multiple home pages created here. So I'm going to come down to the PIC management. And in the PIC management here screen, I have added this as a link already. And I have this in here. But in order to add it a link, and adding them as a link gives you a little bit different functionality. So I'm going to show you that functionality. And this is, if I want to get rid of this on my screen, I simply clean the widget out just like I would in Synergy if I'm that Synergy user. And I can make that go away. Oops, I need to say yes, right? And that is now off of my home screen. To add this as a link, I'm going to choose a WiSys widget, and I'm going to choose the AWE link. Now I'm going to give it a title, and I also need a URL. So I'm going to go to my Agility Web Explorer, and I'm going to go on ahead and grab my item, multi-level item view. And from here, this is the link that I want, and this is the filters are on. They haven't been run. I'm going to copy this link. So I'm simply copying this, and I'm going to go back to Synergy, and I'm going to give it a multi-link item link with filters on. And I'm going to paste that link in here. And then I'm going to save and exit. And you'll notice that has been added very easily to my Synergy screen. And I have my filters here turned on and off. So I click go, and my data displays in Synergy. And I just need to size this for whatever that presentation is. Now I can come in here to this link, and I can add a filter here to make my top bars, menu bars, a little bit. By putting a -1 here, you'll notice that my menu bars are going to change here. So I'm going to click Save and Exit, and it streamlined it down to just that main menu. One of the things that putting a link on is I'm going to come back here to my multi-level item view, and I'm actually going to run my filters and click Go. And when I do that, you'll notice, of course, that I get a much longer link up here. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to copy the link with those filters run. And I'm going to come over here to my Synergy screen, and I'm going to add the same thing. I'm going to add a WiSys Agility web link, and this is my multi-level item view with full data, no filters. So I'm going to paste that link in there. And when I click Save and Exit, you will notice that I have the same thing here, only you'll notice that, make my screen bigger here, that my data is already populated. So I don't have to enter those filters every single time. So something like a multi-level item view, if I want to set it that I'm always looking at this location and I'm always looking at this range of items, I can run the filters and copy that link. Now that doesn't mean that I can't get to those filters, because I can. I am going to get rid of this one here at the moment and have this up top here. And you'll notice that I have my filter funnel here. So if I click on my filter funnel, I can still get to them and I can change it. So I've saved it with them on as a default, but I can get to them and do all the same functionality and change. So it builds it in there really easy, and it makes it easy to pull into Synergy and add that there. So that's what I have for the show and tell of the basics of the Synergy Web Explorer. Let's pop back here to the PowerPoint here. So as I've mentioned, there's a couple things. This is a new product. It's out brand new in 566. So just like all of our products, we're always trying to make them better, faster, more efficient, and give you what you guys are asking for and what you need. So what you saw today is what you will have in 566, but in 567, which is due out the end of July, 1st of August timeframe, we are going to include list views. So if you use the Synergy application or the CRM application, you'll notice when you pull those up, you have a list view where it shows you streamlined information a little bit similar to this view here, where you can see them diagonally, which we can't do right now in the product like on a phone, especially for a phone or a tablet when you're trying for a streamlined view. And then you simply check that view and it drills you in further and further and further. So that's coming in 567. This is actually a dialog box here. So if I were to take you into the order processing, we have got one of the, I'm going to bring this back here really quick. Under order processing, there's an AR aging all, which we have in Agility Explorer, but it's also here in the Agility Web. This simply shows me this is my aging for all of my customers. So this is the list of my balances, and over here are the list of my agings. Obviously, I've forgot to make some sales and my data is a little old, but I can simply choose my card all. So I'm going to drill into 901. And when I get to 901 here, this is my actual list of their invoices. So I can see all of their invoices. Now, in Agility Explorer here, I can click on Invoice, and it opens up a dialog box that shows me everything I need to know about that order, and it shows me that I can reprint that invoice. So there's two issues here. One, I don't have rights to get to that button, so it's telling me I don't have rights. But two, we don't quite have a dialog left or developed. That's coming in 567 that would drill you into that. So that dialog box will pop up, and it will look very similar to something like this to drill into the order and be able to reprint very similar to that. So that functionality is coming. I mentioned before that the direct printing is coming in 567. To install to the Synergy application, we do need to do a WiSys widget install. Today, that's a manual install. So if you're a Synergy user and you would like to pull in your web applications into Synergy, contact me or contact support. We can manually install that with you. And in 567, there will be just a widget installer that will automatically do it for you. It's manual right now today, and we will gladly help you do that and get it running, and an installer is coming. And then I mentioned that the pop-up box is coming versus the tab open or the changing of the screens. So that's coming, and that's part of the new functionality that will be out soon. With the Agility Web Explorer, the setup instructions to create your own Agility Web is out on our documentation site. So if you go out to WiSys.com and you look under support, we have all of our online documentation. And under our online documentation here, under the installing and updating your WiSys products, you will see that the WiSys Agility Web Explorer for 566 is here. So this walks you through what you need to do to turn on your Agility Web Explorer and start using the product. It's pretty simple to do. So if you have any issues or questions, we will gladly help you with that. If you are a Synergy user and you want to add in Agility components into your workspaces, you will see that, or work menus here, adding the WiSys menu to your EM10 menus to your workspaces. You simply open up Agility Explorer, you tell it you want it available for your Macola 10, and then it walks you through adding it to your workspaces menu. So if you want to do that, you can come here to our help or call our support, or let me know you need some help, and we will gladly get that for you. Okay, so the other thing here is with this, one of the things with the 567, I also wanted to let you guys know that in Evolve we showed a lot of different dashboards, and I showed you I don't know if it was this one, but basically I showed you our dashboards. With our Agility business intelligence analytics here, That can run from Agility Web Explorer menu, or it can run from the desktop. So this is just one of our sample dashboards that we have out here for your OE sales analysis. And it is a feature and a functionality with 577 or 567 when it's out that can run from the Agility Explorer, or it can run from your desktop. So also something to think about, because you'll be able to create those and run these from your Agility Explorer. All right.
Kathy, that's really good stuff. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some questions. Are you ready to go there?
You betcha.
All right. We have a question about what version of Macola 10 do I need to be on to use these new widgets?
Within Synergy, Bruce, can you answer that? I think it's been the last 2 versions that they gave us the ability to add that.
It's Synergy product update 257 and above.
Awesome.
257 and above. Does that equal Macola 10.4 and 5?
I think it's 10.4.3 of M10.
10.4.3.
So 10.4.3 and then 10.5 are the last 2 releases. And 10.4.3 Synergy release was 257. That's the Synergy build release.
All right. Bruce, you're a little hard to hear, but I think we got it. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
All right. Another question. I hope that answers your question about which version of Macola you need to run that. Can you use your customized projects in this as well from the widget? So I'm not quite sure what that means. Can you use a customized project? Are you talking about an Agility customized project?
Yes. If you have customizations that you've created in Agility Explorer, they also will be available as a widget that you can add into your Synergy there. Also, if you saw things that you want to create, just to let everyone know, June 20th, we will have a How to Get Started with Agility Designer. So some of you may already be in there using that, but we're going to have a How to Get Started with Agility Designer. The invite will come out tomorrow, and I will show you how to get kick-started to create the Agility Explorer applications, but also it's the same tool, and we are going to cover how to create your Agility web application. So you can very easily become a rock star that pushes a lot of these out to the web too, and have them easily available. So that's coming June 20th, but anything you do create, you can also take to Synergy.
Very good. So in your chat window, I cut and pasted the next webinar in there so you can be one of the earlier followers of that. Stick that on your calendar and go ahead and register now if you'd like. Let's see, another question about how do I get this functionality? So the functionality that Kathy is showing you, if you're an existing current WiSys customer, when you update, do a normal product update, you will get the ability to create these browser components. So the same tool that you use to run Desktop Agility Explorer is the same application that you use to create an Agility Web Explorer application. The only difference is license. So because it's a web product, just like Synergy, you need to be a named user. So there's a WiSys named user. We sell those in a 5-pack. They're the same price as your desktop seats, but they're just a different user license. So you can have desktop seats and you can have web user seats. So some people could just be in your Agility desktop application currently and stay there. Other people may need the ability to run that out on their phone in the warehouse somewhere, or maybe in an auxiliary warehouse over cell phone technology. So it's just a new license. Another question, can I export, how do I get those documents that you printed, Kathy? Can you export the documents instead of printing them to PDF, something like that?
They're created right now in 566. They're created to PDF, so they are out there as a PDF. And if you, let me open this up here. Actually, I don't want this one. I want.
Nicole was asking if it's possible to export those to Word or something.
Well, that would be up to your PDF functionality, but basically on your standard printer here, this is my virtual environment here. And if I come into my documents, you will notice that they're here, and I have the ability to print them to, where's my printer icon? I have to print them to the, it's hiding back here, to print them to OneNote or to send them to the XPS. It would be a matter of whatever you have set up for your environment. So if you have something that could send them as a Word document, if you have that functionality to change those from one to the other, then you could do that. But it's not necessarily there natively.
Okay.
But right now they're created as a PDF, and they will go directly in the next version to the printer based on the printers that you have saved up. But you'll always have that option to send them to your PDF. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Kathy. Another question related to the WiSys web widgets. Are they only available for synergy with Macola 10?
What else would you like them to be available with?
I think they're saying
Expand
they're
on that?
probably running Synergy, but they have Synergy installed separately from M10.
Maybe the classic synergy?
Not ASP. They would have to be Synergy Enterprise. I believe the widget technology is part of Synergy Enterprise. And I don't have an environment, or we don't have an environment, but we have a standalone Synergy to actually test that. In theory, trying to think.
That is the question, Bruce. It's Synergy Enterprise with progression.
The widgets is a feature of Synergy Enterprise, but I couldn't answer exactly. We've never tested it in any other environment than M10.
Thank you for that question. Let's see. Anybody else have a question? I think we're wrapping up, top of the hour here. I think those are the majority of the questions that have been asked so far. Somebody wanted to know, I've never heard about a hamburger menu. Did you make that up?
I had to make sure. No, I did not make that up. It really is. You can actually Google that, and it will take you out there. A lot of the newer functionalities, you will see that little menu in there. I don't know how it got its name, but that's what its name is.
Well, it looks like a big hamburger.
Yep, little hamburger stack.
All right, so we are interested, very interested in what you saw today. You are welcome to email Kathy and tell her what you'd like to be made to run in a browser. This is all cooked up in a lab. We have some customers that have already purchased it. They're doing some things with it, but like anything else, until you tell us if it has some value, we won't know. So thank you, everybody. We're right at the top of the hour now, so we'll go ahead and finish. And I will email out a copy of this webinar as a video, and you can rewatch parts of it again. Thank you very much. Take care. And register for that next webinar. Bye now.